that?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It's not inappropriate. We're married.
No,
There's nothing inappropriate about it. It's actually a very sweet thing.
It's the fact that your wife is still trying for you is the
Yeah.
that makes me happy for you, my brother.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of Good Guy, Bad Guy. I am Chael Sonnen, joined with the two-time champion, Daniel Cormier. Daniel, it's fight week. It's NCAA Wrestling Week. We got drama with Little Rock. Where do you want to begin?
Chael, I got to be honest with you. You know where I want to begin, Chael? My son, my pride and joy, my heart, my beating heart outside of my body got into my truck and said to me the other day, Dad, there's some gray in your beard. I go, are you just noticing this now? It broke my heart, Chael, because it told me that me being his superhero, those days are starting to pass because the gray has been there for years. But because he saw me in a certain light, he could not recognize them, Chael. Now he sees me as a normal mortal and he saw the gray and it broke my heart, Chael. It's been there for years. Maybe Daniel, I'm not a superhero anymore.
I fully get your point. I was 26 years old when I foresaw this coming. And every Sunday from 26 years old on, I have dyed my hair.
No.
And there used to be like a stigma. I didn't want anybody to know. The whole reason I started dyeing it is because I didn't want anybody to know that I was dyeing it. My point is, I actually feel your pain. And I remember telling my wife, she said, why are you dyeing your hair? And I said, I'm trying to be a professional athlete. Nobody's trying to hire a gray-haired professional athlete. Brett Favre. That's the only guy that could make any money with gray hair.
Yep. Him and George Clooney. They always say, well, when you go gray, it makes you look distinguished and you. George Clooney is the only human being that's ever pulled that off successfully. I don't care what anybody says. Chael, another guy that's starting to show some gray hair, and I got to be honest, I'm being completely honest with you. I'm not mad that he's finally starting to be a little older because he kicked our butts when he was a young man and we were in our mid-30s, older 30s. We were showing the gray. He was still a fresh-faced kid, and that's Jon Jones. Now, when you see Jon Jones, you see a little gray in his beard. You see a little gray. He's aging. This young guy now is chasing him. So Jon said recently to Ariel Helwani, he said, hey, I'm going to need 6 months for this guy, Tom Aspinall. He recognizes the challenge ahead of him. And for so long, everybody has thought that it would be International Fight Week where they would go. Jon says, I need 6 months. From the date that the contract is signed, what do you make of that? I think Jon Jones messing around with people, man.
This might be my favorite Jon Jones move. I mean, and there's been plenty of them. You'll, of course, remember with the Alexander Gustafsson fight, and they had to move it from out to California, and he got a private jet. I mean, of all the Jon Jones moves, Daniel, this is very interesting. Let me take you back to a year called 1989. WWF Commissioner Jack Tunney officially ruled, in light of Ultimate Warrior being a closet champion, that you must defend your title every 365 days. We largely, as a community, boxing's guilty as well. We largely went off the angle that alleged Commissioner Jack Tunney set up, and then there became a guy called Dominic Cruz. And he ended up having 3.5 years without a defense, but we had grace because he was injured. I mean, I'm just sharing with you, like the common fan, and even Ring Magazine will report that you are a closet champion if you don't defend every 365 days. There's not an official rule on that. It's just kind of like an industry standard. And the fact that Jon Jones would say that he needs 6 months from the time the contracts are signed. I knew Jon Jones was fighting Aspinall the second Jon Jones got done fighting Stipe. But the clock does not start. According to Jon, the clock does not start. The 6-month mythical clock does not start until the contracts are signed. And Daniel, he's within the 12 months. Even if they've slow played it, like it's not quite enough to get pissed off at a guy. It's right there. It's right at the point you're playing your cards. But I think he's playing them the right way. I don't know how serious he is. It's definitely annoying, but I think that his point was to be annoying. I think that was the point. And in that way, he has succeeded.
That's the thing, Joe. He's annoying him. He's annoying people because they want things so bad. You know, you can want something so bad that it just eats at your soul. And there's one person, Joe, there's one guy that's responsible for giving you that thing. Who would have ever thought that you want something that bad and Jon Jones holds the key to it, knowing that Jon Jones can be like, nah, I just don't want to do that. Like, and I don't care what you think, right? I'm the greatest of all time. You can say this guy's going to beat me. There's been many that are supposed to beat me, but it doesn't matter. And so Tom Aspinall's dad, he talks, right? He goes, he should give up the belt. He should vacate the title. If he's not going to fight Tom, we're not bothered by him. He goes, he should let the belt go. But the reality is this, right? The reality is he is a guy that just fought. Jon Jones beat Steve Miocic 6 months ago. And if we waited 2 years for him to come back after beating Cyril Gane, why would they think that they would get him to vacate the belt 6 months after? Yo, if Jon Jones, with what he's doing right now, chill, if this contract got signed today, the earliest he could fight is September. So it's like he really is like, it's like, come on, dude. Yo, I had a friend growing up in Louisiana named Eric. His name was Eric. He was the worst rich kid you've ever known. Now, rich is
he buddies with Fat Shane?
No. Fat Shane is from Oakland. This guy's from Lafayette. His name was Eric, right? We would always be on my grandmother's street, West End Street. We'd all hang out on Sundays. Eric was the only kid that possessed a Nintendo. He was the one that had money. You remember how much a Nintendo cost when we were growing up? Yeah. So Eric, Narcisse, we would literally take turns going into his house to play Chael. He would literally make us wait in the backyard. One guy gets a chance to play. Once that guy would play, the other guy could come in. He would not allow 6 of us into his house. But Eric possessed the golden ticket. He had the video game. So we were willing to wait. Jon Jones got the video game, bro. It's like the ultimate. Skeletor got the video game. The evil guy got the video game. And Jon Jones is toying with us right now because he knows we want it so bad.
Yes, he really is. And even if you're Dana, like, you got to sit him down and explain to him, unless you want to do this at the Apex, I got to play the venue game like everybody else. I don't just have a venue. Like, there's all sorts of things that have to align. You start to stress the importance of International Fight Week. You start to stress the importance of Madison Square Garden in November. I just don't know what John's doing, but it's not quite enough to be upset. Can I tell you who it does concern me for a little bit? I want Aspinall, because I love the attitude. I love Aspinall's attitude. But DC, how many guys have found success and kept this attitude? Because I will remind you, this is the same attitude that Jon Jones had. Jon Jones was willing to change gym, leave coaches, burn a relationship with Rashad Evans, whatever it took to get to his goal of a championship. I very much respected that. I very much respect when somebody's a competitor in front of a businessman. But how many guys stay that way? Aside from Khabib and company, most guys do eventually trade the belt for the dollars. And I love it. But we are going to have to remember this, and we might have to call Tom on this someday. I hope he stays a competitor.
Yeah.
What he's saying right now is the same thing that Jon once said before he got the belt.
Okay, so Chael, this is what Tom Aspinall's dad said. He called him a bum. He called Jon a bum. Tom's not bothered about Jon. Jon is just another body in the gym, another bum in the shower. He just wants to compete. Talking about Tom Aspinall.
Bum in the shower? He said the word shower?
I don't understand why he said shower.
Okay.
I'm reading it. I don't know. Maybe that's something. Hey, maybe it's something in England, right? You know how they say, like, taking the piss or taking the piss. Yeah. I'm like, yo, stop taking the piss on me. And I'm like, that sounds negative here. And they're like, oh, we're just Josh and messing around.
Another bum in the shower.
Another bum in the shower, which is what I'm going to use it. So here's the deal. There's some danger in the Aspinall approach. Let me tell you why. And we have seen this time and time again, right? The interim champion that runs alongside the champion, or the number one contender that runs alongside the champion that just keeps on fighting and fighting and fighting. A lot of times, bro, ultimately somebody gets that guy. You remember when Tony Ferguson was undefeated, 12 wins in a row, beating everybody, but could never get to Khabib. It was always like right on the doorstep, and then it wouldn't happen. Eventually, Justin Gaethje got him. He was never the same. We have seen that, though. We have seen that. We saw this recently with, who was that we saw recently that was always like a number one contender, and he was just beating the next guy? Oh, it was Robert Whittaker, right? Remember Robert Whittaker when he was losing to Izzy and only could lose to Izzy? It was like, if this guy's not the champ, Robert Whittaker would be the man. But Rob just kept taking the toughest fight and the toughest fight and the toughest fight. And he would always beat everybody to eventually put himself right back in title contention. And then he lost to Dricus. And once he lost to Drekas and realized he could lose to other people, then he lost to somebody else. And then recently he got beat by Hamzat in the worst way that he's ever been beaten. But he was always so willing to step up and fight the toughest guy that eventually somebody gets you. And I think that's the danger in the Aspinall approach, because Aspinall, to his credit, says, I'll just fight the next guy if this guy doesn't want to fight. But how long can you just fight the next guy before the next guy becomes the guy that actually beats you? And then you don't ever get to that fight with the guy that you ultimately wanted the whole time.
Yeah, it's a precarious situation. It really is. I don't think that Jon Jones is going to fight twice again in his whole career. I think he's going to do this one last fight. And I just suggest that for you because if Jon wins, what does Tom do after that? I mean, does Tom come in and maybe he collects a belt and they do a vacated thing and he's got to wait again and then people question it forever? He's just in a very difficult spot. I will tell you, as a guy that never won the big fight, but was involved in big fights. Like, it's not what you dream about as a kid. You don't dream of being in the fight. You dream of winning it, but only one guy can win, right? I mean, you got a 50% chance of losing. I just share for you, like, as young as Tom is, as much as he's having to wait, what happens if he does get the other side of the coin? He sure does have a rare confidence. His father's got a rare confidence. I mean, I don't know if I've seen Tom so confident. Tom's never spoke about anybody, called him another bum in the shower. He's never talked about anybody like that. Like, there's something very personal with Jon, but when you have to wait and you got to play by his rules, it's a thing. I don't know if you've ever done that, if you've taken a layoff, DC, but I did. I served a suspension through a commission, but I will tell you, as I was leaving that locker room that night and I hadn't seen the cage in a while, it's a rare feel, and there's really nothing you can do to emulate or duplicate that. It's a tough spot. I don't envy this for Tom.
The one thing, so two quick points before we move on. One, Tom is on the other side of what Jon had prior. Jon had time because he was young. Now he doesn't have time because the more that he kicks the can down the road a little bit, the worse it gets, right? Because every day he gets a day older in terms of being a fighter, and we all know that age isn't our friend in fighting. Tom Aspinall has that time that Jon doesn't have. The one thing that Tom Aspinall is doing, Chael, and you said he's more confident than we've ever seen him, he just has to find that one thing. Right now, he's just chipping away, trying to find that one thing to get to Jones, because you and I both know as guys that got to him, it's one thing that you can make him lock on, that makes him feel disrespected, angry, or mad, and then his attention is solely focused on you, and there'll be nothing that can stop him from fighting you. Tom is still searching for that thing that's going to make Jon go, I've got to deal with this dude. Because for everything that Jon Jones is, he's a fighter and a competitor. And once you piss him off, Chael, the only thing on his mind is to try to get you. Tom hasn't found that thing yet.
Yeah, you're right about that. Colby Covington used to live with him back in college, and Colby said the same thing. He was like, man, once you upset the guy, it was very hard to calm him down. DC, I got to ask you something. Do you got like a low battery? Am I hearing a beep? Do you have a smoke alarm going off? Is this my imagination?
Okay, no, Chael. So, dude, it's everywhere. Like, I just cannot deal. I get to a point that where I build an immunity, I don't hear it. I have a low battery in a fire detector, a smoke detector. It's a room and a half down. It's like in my laundry room.
Sure.
And I haven't been to Ace Hardware yet, so I've got to go today to change the battery. But yes, I don't even hear it no more. I guess it's been doing that for the last month. Yeah. I just don't hear it. But you can
hear it. I thought like I was hearing a little stuff. That would be a good job for little Daniel, by the way. You get him sets of Duracell. I could overnight it to you. You tell Daniel, he goes and puts it in.
He doesn't really do stuff like that, man. His job is to train. Chael, everybody goes, your kids don't do chores. I go, my kids' chores are to make sure they have great grades and train in sports. That's their job. I'll get everything else done. Hey, we have people that do that, like change batteries. But
yeah, the person is called your son. His name is Daniel. He lives 2 doors down. Hey, pay him a visit. Tell him hello. Hand him the Duracell.
You remember before when I didn't walk down the stairs on Christmas morning like you? Now I get to walk downstairs on Christmas morning, and I got people that change batteries for me.
By the way, if we're doing a little housekeeping amongst friends, did you fall out of your chair on Monday? Michael Delaney sent me a clip.
No.
And it looks as though you fell out of the chair.
Oh, Pip was attacking me, dude. Remember Pip was attacking my foot?
Yes.
And I reached down to grab her. So I kind of like leaned down. I was like, stop it, stop it, stop it. And then I kind of went down to grab her, but I tried not to get all the way out of the chair to grab her. And you know, our chairs are kind of lifted. So yeah, that's what happened. It was stupid Pip, man. She was like biting my damn foot. But yes, everybody said that. This dude dude, I got a text from did something happen on Good Guy, Bad Guy? Did Daniel fall? I was like, I didn't fall. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I'm not that washed up. Chill. Speaking of Tom Aspinall, this weekend, the UFC's back in London. But this week in MMA history, a card that Tom Aspinall was on was one of the craziest fight cards I have ever seen. It was in London. Back in the day, UFC Fight Night 204, 2022, Aspinall versus Volkov. Chill, listen to this night. Tom Aspinall submitted Alexander Volkov. Arnold Allen knocked out Dan Hooker. Paddy Pimblett submits Vargas. Meatball Molly had that spinning back fist KO that literally elevated her into a superstar. Then we had Topuria knocking out Jai Herbert, but Jai Herbert had some success in that fight. That has, to this day, been the most difficult fight that he's had in his career. Sergey got another TKO, Pavlovich talking about. Makwan Amarkhani got a submission. Paul Craig got a submission. And Mohamed Mokayev got a submission. Bro, they gave 9 bonuses on that night. Do you remember that fight card? In the atmosphere that was one of the wildest fight cards I've ever seen. And the crowd was as good as any fight night that I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, that was really incredible. Hey, look, just to go to your main event, but when beating Volkov is a hard thing to do. Beating Volkov in a stand-up fight is a very rare thing to do. That's not even something that I could say Cyril Gane did. Cyril Gane had to actually take that fight to the ground. I only bring that because it was kind of the emergence of Tom Aspinall. The number one that Tom had is he had won the heart and mind of Michael Bisping, who had a microphone. Michael Bisping was the one at that point in time telling everybody, I got the guy. This guy can go with Jon Jones. This guy can beat Jon Jones. But he hadn't really convinced and showed the rest of the world that you and I and the little old lady in Iowa. It was a very big night. By the way, why do we call her Meatball? I have always wondered that. Is that not an insult? She likes to be called Meatball, correct?
She likes to be called Meatball.
Where does that come from? She must have eaten a lot of meatballs at some point.
Do you remember when she was at 135? She was a little rounder. Remember, she was a little rounder.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Meatball Molly is what they called her. But she got really skinny before the last fight, so she doesn't look like Meatball Molly anymore. But dude, to that point, chill.
When you're in a hole, quit digging, I believe is the expression.
Yeah, but to that point, chill. Michael Bisping and the Tom Aspinall thing, it got, I mean, did it get ridiculous? Did it get, I mean, Michael, you want to polish your shoes too? Do you remember that? Oh my God, Bisping.
He loved him. He wouldn't stop. You can't get a compliment from Michael Bisping. Nobody has ever been complimented from Michael Bisping. You couldn't get him to shut up. You would have had to turn his mic off.
Michael Bisping's it's like Bisping doesn't compliment you. He wants to insult you. But when it comes to Aspinall, I mean, you get a compliment. He's just throwing him out like Oprah when Oprah was giving away cars. This dude, I was looking at him in New York City. We're on a video next to each other, me and Bisping. And this guy can do this. He's like Muhammad Ali. When he said that, I looked at him. I said, Michael, do you understand the cameras are rolling, man? And then Aspinall knocks out Pavlovich, and then Aspinall celebrating with Bisping. I'm like, is he on the payroll? It was the craziest thing. And then it actually happens. It never works out better. So I throw a lot of stuff at the wall, chill, hoping it sticks. Boy, when I'm right, I tell everybody I was right. Boy, Bisping has been telling me he's been right from the night that Aspinall knocked out Pavlovich to now. I'll get a random text that Michael Bisping was right.
I appreciate the backstory too. I mean, I assume like they were countrymen or maybe they were teammates or they came through the same training camp. It turned out they never had, like they hadn't officially met, and Bisping had just seen him in a practice room one time. And Aspinall was younger or something, and Michael just kind of believed in him. But he did call that one. I mean, not for nothing. He really did call that one. But as I look at Aspinall, I mean, I got to go back to it, Daniel. He has not been in the cage very much. And you can sit and brag about knocking out 6 guys all in the first round. But when you start to do the math and you look at the weeks and months and even years that have gone by, he hadn't had a half hour of experience. I'm not positive he's had 20 minutes of experience. There's an age where that doesn't matter. Jon Jones has even showed us that. But there's an age where it does. I do think that it's a little bit of a question mark.
Yeah, especially when you're fighting a guy like Jones with that much championship level experience. But talking of Aspinall and that night, the reason we spoke about that this week in MMA history is because this weekend, Chael, we go back to London. This time with Leon Edwards taking on Sean Brady in the main event. This place loves fighting. They love Leon Rocky Edwards. Edwards is back after his performance against Belal Muhammad, and he takes on a very tough Sean Brady, a younger guy getting an opportunity. Remember, that was supposed to be, he was supposed to fight against the kid that's fighting for the championship.
Hermanson.
No, not Hermanson. Joe, it's the other kid.
Yeah.
What's the other kid's name?
His name's Jack. It's like 3 letters.
Jack Della Maddalena.
For the belt.
Jack
Della Lema. Jack Della Lema.
He was supposed to fight Jack Della. Jack Della gets title shot. He now fights Sean Brady. What do you make of this fight?
Wow. We forgot Jack Della.
Jack Della Maddalena. Yo, chill.
That's amazing. They will apparently just hire anybody over here at this little company called ESPN. All right. Let me tell you something.
Chill, stop, chill. Guess what?
Daniel.
Yo, one time I was in the Octagon.
Yeah.
And I was doing a post-fight interview in the Apex, and I forgot Sean Brady's name. After he won,
what'd you call him?
I said, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for, and then my face got white and I panicked. I looked at Brendan Fitzgerald and he goes, Sean Brady. And I go, Sean Brady, because I could hear Fitzy in my ear. And Sean goes, did you forget my name? I go, I swear to God, Sean, I know exactly who you are. I just have been hit a lot of times in my head over the course of my career, and that got me some leeway with them, but I forgot Sean Brady's name in the Octagon.
That's a pro move. That's a pro move by Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald saved the day on that. He had to read your body language, know to speak, push the button. I'm pretty impressed by that. Daniel, can I tell you my Sean Brady story?
Yeah.
I'm watching a grappling event, and there's a guy named Sean Brady who allegedly has a black belt, but he gets brought in to do the JOB for Craig freaking Jones. Like, this isn't going to be a problem. 15 minutes later, they're raising this Sean Brady's hand. Next thing I know, he's a UFC fighter who amasses a record of 15-0. Somebody got upset with Belal Muhammad, so the backstory goes, they put him on an undercard against this Sean Brady kid who at the time was 15-0. His only loss to this day is to the current champion. Sean Brady makes a comeback, even gets the jump on Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, not for nothing. If you're looking to help Rocky or you're looking for a hometown guy to come in and do the job, I think his night just got harder. Even in front of Jack Della Lema, who I respect tremendously, I think Brady's the boogie monster of the whole damn division.
Well, the problem is he possesses that thing that you just said gave Craig Jones problems. He possesses that ability to take you down and control you. And we saw Leon Edwards in his last fight struggled with that. He struggled with the pressure of Belal Muhammad. He struggled with the wrestling of Belal Muhammad. But can Sean Brady do that to that level that Belal was able to? Because we have not seen many do it. Kamaru Usman struggled to do it in the last 2 fights, control Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards was a guy that looked like he had built himself to the point that he could have a long title reign, and he defended the belt a couple times against Kobe, against Kamaru. And when you can defend against those 2 guys, you would imagine he'd be able to defend against anyone. But this is a very fun fight. This is a big fight. But it honestly feels like this fight in London is kind of moving day in 2 divisions. You have the opportunity for 2 divisions to be kind of turned upside down. Because while we see at 170, Shavkat is now the #1 contender against Belal and Jack Della Maddalena, Brady would put himself in that rare air of the top 3 with those young guys chasing an older champion. 205, you also have Jan Blachowicz, a guy who has fought for the belt, been a champion, fighting Carlos Ulberg. Ulberg is another young up-and-coming guy, tall, can finish you, knock you out. He has an opportunity to now put himself in title contention. So while we can look to this fight card this weekend, Joe, for all the fun that it will be, especially with that great London crowd, there are some very important fights with massive stakes between 2 guys in terms of Brady and Ulberg with the opportunity to truly introduce himself to the elite of the division.
Daniel, I'm trying to listen to you. I got a mirror over here. What, sweetie, please, come here. Ask Uncle Daniel, what is going on? Just ask him. No, have you found a singlet? Show him. Have you found a singlet?
Let me
She's
see
coming
it.
to me and she's showing
Oh.
while I'm trying. She's in the mirror right here. I think that's a wrestling singlet, sweetie.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I found it in Mom's closet, and she.
Oh, could
and
we
she-
could
she
we
said
please
it's not-
could we please do this later? It'd be very helpful. Thank you. No, for sure. Maybe Uncle Daniel will get back to us. He's got, he can't get batteries and I can't hide things, but we all have our, all right, I love you, baby. What the, how do I handle that?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't
It's
know.
not inappropriate. We're married.
it's
There's
not.
nothing inappropriate about it. It's actually a very sweet thing.
It's the fact that your wife is still trying for you is the
Yeah.
that makes me happy for you, my brother.
Right.
That
I
makes
should
me
not
happy
be
for you.
embarrassed right now. I have
No,
done
you
nothing
should.
wrong.
You
Nobody
should
has
not.
done anything wrong in this situation.
No, you have not.
The young
That
lady
is a
believes
great
that she
singer.
found a wrestling single. All right. You know, can I go back to Jan Blachowicz here? It's just an interesting spot, Daniel. I think there is so much pressure on this card. On the top of the bill, Leon Edwards is not going to main event again if he does not get the jump on Brady.
Yep.
Brady is not going to be in title talks again on good guy and bad guy if he doesn't get the jump on Leon. By the way, let's take a look at Jan. The one guy who really did make our current champion, Uncle Liev, look human is Jan. The one guy to steal some rounds off him, the one guy that's officially got a tie is Jan. And I just think that he's in a very peculiar spot, not to mention it's a co-main event. I think that favors him. I think that he pushes very well for 25 minutes. I think that's the biggest thing to look at on the card is the placement of this fight, which is a co-main event, which is going to qualify him for 15 minutes. I think it's a big advantage for Blachowicz.
Yeah, it's going to be a great fight card, man. I cannot wait to watch the UFC from the UFC from London this weekend. Chill.
Where do you think she found the singlet?
Oh, she said she found it in Mom's closet.
Right.
She's in
Like
Mom's
she
closet.
just goes through drawers and then she comes. I don't understand
is-
what's happening here.
Yeah. I love the fact that you guys are as parents allow for your kids to discover. And that's awesome. I love you guys giving them the ability to be free. You know what? One thing about growing up in a black household, and we don't get to go in our parents' bedroom ever. Like your parents' bedroom is like off limits. I don't know. I lived with my mom and dad for 17 years. Sure. I might have been in their room once or twice. You just don't go in your parents' bedroom.
I don't know that that's race related, by the way.
Really? So you guys don't get to go in your parents' bedroom either?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you're supposed to go in there. No,
Yeah,
for various reasons. Like dad's got a gun or mom's like whatever it was. But yeah, we didn't go in there.
Yeah, your dad's got a gun. Mom's got a whole bunch of singlets in her drawer. Like, yeah, you don't go in your parents' bedroom. It just doesn't happen.
I got woken up at 10:38 p.m. The year was 1988 to watch a man named John Wesley Smith in Seoul, Korea, win the Olympic Games. Yes, my dad brought me in. He took on the Russian. And my dad woke me up. He woke me up, said, "Come on, you got to see this kid." We watched on this little TV, but it was in the master bedroom.
So you got to go in the bedroom that one time.
Yeah, I got to go in the bedroom.
Yeah, so you don't
it.
get you never went in there. If you remember that as a story, yeah, you don't get to go in there. Chill. Speaking of wrestling, I'm back at the NCAA tournament this weekend, and I cannot wait, bro. I leave tomorrow morning. I call the semifinals and the finals, but I'm going to watch the rest of the tournament tomorrow morning. First round, when I'm on the airplane, I'm going to be streaming the NCAA tournament from ESPN Plus. They show it all, the mat cast and everything. And then once I land in Philadelphia, first I'm getting me a cheesesteak. Once I get my cheesesteak from Angelo's, I'm going straight to the Wells Fargo Arena where I will be sitting and watching, and then I have a hit. So when Cheyenne just texts me, yo, I don't know. You know Cheyenne, right? We both know Cheyenne. We all love Cheyenne. Cheyenne will machine gun text you. One message. She will hit you. Chill. 8:15 your time. Yep, I'm good, Cheyenne. 7:45, Daniel, you're 8:15. I'm good, Cheyenne. From now to tomorrow, I'll get 6 messages from Cheyenne about being there at 8:15. Hey, Cheyenne, you ain't got to remind me. I want to be there. I want to be there more than anything I want in my entire life. So, yes, I'm in the Wells Fargo Arena tomorrow to watch the NCAA tournament. I don't need a reminder, Cheyenne.
Daniel, I got to go last year. And by the way, you were the best wrestling announcer in the business. I am vying for that position. I want to be standing with you so much. Cheyenne pulled every string in the book. We got to come in special doors. She put us in the fancy seats. We got a snack. I was sitting up there with Shane Sparks. I got my son with me. We're watching Aaron Brooks wrestling for the championship, wondering where Fast Twitch is at. Listen, it all goes down. The NCAA, there's nothing quite like it, including the Olympic Games. The Olympic Games, for perspective, had 8,800 live in attendance, and that was for the last games. The NCAA has been sold out for months. There is no wrestling environment in the world. You can meet guys that are Olympic gold medals. They will not sleep well if they did not win the NCAA. I mean, it's a real thing. Kevin Jackson, in fact, told Royce Alger that. They were the finals of the tournament, and Kevin said, man, I would almost give my Olympic gold medal back to be in your spot just because of the atmosphere of the NCAAs.
You know, it's like, it's the best because you have the ability to go and represent your college. You see all the different colors in there. And let me tell you, Chael, I love the NCAA wrestling tournament because of all the great competition and the school and like being tribal to your team. But I like it because of things like what happened to Cowboy Steve. Cowboy Steve goes to the NCAA tournament, goes, I don't know anybody. But by the end of the weekend, Daniel, I knew exactly what I was watching, and I knew all the big names. He goes, I'm standing there, and all of a sudden I have a 30-minute conversation with a guy named Rob. He goes, I find out it's Rob Cole. He's the head coach at North Carolina. He goes, and he just talked to me. And it made an impression on Steve, right? And to this day, this dude loves talking about wrestling. It's the best sport, the best time. And yes, Cheyenne made it great for us. So guys, I just went to her Instagram. I didn't realize I didn't follow Cheyenne. I was going to flash a picture on the screen of Cheyenne. So I'm asking and requesting that the producers put a picture up of Cheyenne because chill, it's Cheyenne's birthday today. So we're name dropping, talking about Cheyenne. It's happy birthday to Cheyenne. I will go spend tomorrow with her at the NCAA tournament. But bro, the greatest time of the year for wrestlers, Chael, the most nerve-wracking time of the year, and just a time where wrestling in our households truly does become the most important thing, especially for these next few days.
I love the shout out you gave to Cheyenne. The world is truly a better place with Cheyenne in it. By the way, it's Glenn's birthday tomorrow. It's your birthday tomorrow. How's that for impressive? So just to give you a little update around the Sun and House, the wrestling singlet. It also today is my aunt's 87th birthday. So my daughter has decided apparently to give her the singlet as her birthday present. She's gotten a card for her. She has the card and the singlet sitting right over here in a little bag. That will be going on later today.
Whoa.
And all of a sudden, talking about Meatball Molly is not so awkward.
No, it's not. Happy birthday to your aunt. What's her name, Chael, so I can give her
name is Paulette. And by the way, I really appreciate you giving a shout out to Cowboy Steve. He is one of our most loyal listeners. He watches this all the time. He's got the cool cowboy hat. Levi Haynes walked up to him right after he won the national championship. Levi is walking past him and goes, I like your hat.
Well, that must have made his day, didn't it?
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Levi Haynes versus O'Toole. It is going down. I cannot believe the world's not talking about this. Fast Twitch is back in the business. Don't forget about that. We got something shady going on with this kid from Little Rock. I'm into the whole scene, man.
I'm into the whole scene. Hey, and did you see Thomas Gilman jump on that PJ yesterday with that cowboy hat? Yep. Boy, Thomas Gilman knows how to make a show, but wrestling is starting to get it, and I love it. Chael, also, hey, love the wrestling singlet. Love that. Hey, I just love, Chael, that even at our age, you guys are still wearing wrestling singlets in that household, and it's not only Farrell. You're a lucky, lucky man, Chael Sonnen. Guys.
I do appreciate that.
Guys.
I do appreciate that.
That's another episode of Good Guy, Bad Guy. For Chael Sonnen, I'm Daniel Cormier. Until next time, peace. Chael, that's so funny. So funny.